Hello, I'm Dr. Tom, and I'd like to welcome you to another Friday update. And another spectacular week has taken place inside the world of gin. I would first like to begin this week with a very heartfelt and appreciative thank you to those of you who took time to respond to the survey. It only takes a couple of minutes. The survey that we sent out from gin asking for feedback. And this is important to us because it begins to help us shape and mold the messaging that we give to you each week, each month, each year as we move this ball forward, as we get moving forward to that level 8, which is coming up free from KT. Again, we're very excited about what's happening in the upgrade world, and we're very excited about what's happening in the evolution of gin getting to 12 levels. We are currently at 7 for those of you who are brand new to this club. I will also ask you to be on the lookout for our Black Friday specials, which will be emails that are coming out for you for next week. So be on the lookout for those. I know that we get a ton of emails that are already happening as we move into the holiday season and as we move into the Thanksgiving and the Black Fridays and all of the information that seems like everyone in the world is sending to you at this point. Be on the lookout for that Black Friday special coming from gin. Because it's important that you begin to, we're winding up 2020. That's the good news. We're winding up the year. And it's a time of year when we begin to become thankful and grateful and appreciative, to remind ourselves that that's just not something we do in November. That's just not something that happens here in the United States in the fourth week in November. That it's something, and I talked about this quite a bit on my Wellness Wednesday this week, about thankful, about that frequency and vibration. And it will be very good, I think, for you to help ground you in the concept that it's something that you grow into and it's an activity you do or can do each and every day. And when it sets the tone for you, it helps you to focus on who you listen to. That's another topic that I've talked about recently, because these are important. They're not only important this time of year, they're important at all times of year. However, this is the time to put focus on it. As we get to the end of a year, we can reflect back and say, what did we accomplish? Did we meet our goals and dreams and aspirations? Are we on course? Are we moving as fast as we hoped we would? We've had some challenges that we couldn't anticipate when we set out in January to say this is what we expect from 2020. Little did we know that there were some outside forces in play. So it's really important that we begin to look inward, that we begin to focus on who we are. Part of who you listen to and who are you listening to is, are you listening to yourself? Are you listening to your body? Are you listening to your gut? Are you listening to, when you hear information, does it sound right? Does it sound skewed? Does it sound like there's a narrative or an agenda that someone has? And this doesn't just apply to the COVID conversation that's out there, and we've been through this week after week after week talking about the fallacies and the challenges that happen, and facts and science, because there are so many scientists on both sides of this whole conversation. To the point this week, I was reading a press release from the World Health Organization, and oddly enough, they're having an outbreak of COVID in their Geneva, Switzerland headquarters. And if it can happen there, it can happen anywhere, because it can happen anywhere. It's what I've been telling you since March. This virus is a sticky little virus in that it transfers easily. The bit about 6 feet, the bit about, unless you're just going to go hide under a rock, you're going to be, there is a chance that you will be exposed to this. Therefore, whether it's this week, this month, during the holiday season, when you see your family, next month, this is not going to go away. No one is going to be able to flip a light switch and say, that's over, whoo, we're done with COVID. And what if there's a COVID-20 and a COVID-21? You see, this is part of our training in gin, is to build our foundation and be prepared for the future. Begin to see in your mind's eye what it is that you desire for you and your family and your friends and your work and your relationships and your financial picture. And begin to see those things and begin to move toward them. This is why it's important. It's why it's important to who you listen to and what is that narrative. And it's important to listen to your body, and it's important to build your immune system. We've been talking about this. We've now had 9 months that you could have easily, and hopefully have been, working to build your immune system. Because when you build your immune system, you're part of the over 99% in the survival rate of this particular virus. It is not the end of humanity. It is a virus. It too shall pass. So, the point of the whole conversation of who you listen to, and you know, this week we're hearing information that comes out that you know, Moderna and Pfizer and now Sinovac Biotech in China are all touting vaccine developments that are happening that are in the 94 or 90 percentile. And, you know, I just approach that with, it's just a news flash. It may or may not be true. It may or may not be factual. 94%, I think, is let's just say, a very high number when they've been dealing with vaccines for flus for over the last 15 years. They average under 40%. And they've had 15 years to work on that. This is something that's been done in a matter of months. And, you know, the beauty of vaccines are that they're really good for the stockholders of the companies that are developing them or that are touting them, because look at the stock market and look what's happening there. You know, I am skeptical at best, and I'm not going to be the first in line for something that, in my opinion, is experimental at this point at the very best. So that's not the answer. And yet, if you believe that that is the answer, I'm happy for you, and I accept that for you, and that's what you should do. You see, you have to do what your body tells you. You have to do what your gut says. And if that's in your belief system, and that's what you think is the key, that will change what's going to happen in the spread of this virus, then I invite you to listen to your gut, to go with what you believe is true, because to go against what you believe is hard on your body as well. So this is a matter of how do we find that happy place for each of us? How do we find that spot where we feel good about the choices that we're making? Because it's important. You see, you are an accumulation of a series of choices that you've made over your entire life. Good or bad, you are now reaping the benefit, you're reaping the reward, and that reward can be great health and longevity, it can be sickness and disease. You are reaping the reward of the accumulation of the choices that you've made up until now. Hopefully, now with some training and now with some wisdom, because every day you get a little bit older, you could theoretically get a little bit wiser by continuing to learn, by not stopping and saying, I learned everything and now I'm just going to go live it. This is a constant journey, a constant evolution of information and learning and applying it and then seeing how that fits and how that feels to you. And every single one of us are on a slightly different path. The beauty is those of us in Gen are on a similar path. And we're on a path where we can think for ourselves and we can make decisions, we can make choices. And we don't always have to agree on every single thing that we do. That's the collective consciousness that happens. It's a group effort, if you will. It's a group mastermind. It's a way in which we as a group move forward. And it's healthy to have good conversation, not violent conversation. Not, peacefully protesting something is a great vehicle. When we take up bricks and guns and bats and clubs, that is crossing a line of civility that does not need to be crossed. So use the information that is available to you. Make good, conscious decisions for yourself. This is a time of year to be thankful. This is a time of year to make great dietary choices. I'm not talking about just Thanksgiving Day. I'm talking about as we move into this whole holiday season where there are more, well, historically, there are more parties or there are more foods or there are more things that are sent to your homes or your businesses to share. Just be sensible, be smart, be intelligent this year in particular, because there's never been a more important year for you to work on your immune system. This is the time to do that. This is the time to be reflective on the year. This is the time to be thankful and grateful and appreciative for what we have and what we have to look forward to and how we can move forward into 2021. That's what this time of year is about. This is the time of year when I would say, make better choices in your nutritional choices. This is the time of year I would say, turn off the news and turn on the power. Turn on the power that made you. Turn on the power because that's the power that can heal you. Healing comes from within. You grew from one cell to trillions of cells, not by accident, by a plan, by a genetic code. And the more we do to augment that code and make it easier on ourselves and we swim less upstream against the current internally, the easier it is for our body to give us the end result of good health, good happiness, good success. You see, when you can see this concept of you, when you view you as a temple, when you can see that in your mind and you can feel that in your heart and you can believe that in your soul, in every fiber of your being, you win. And that is our desire for you. As we move forward into this holiday season, that's our desire for you inside of Jen. Is to let go of that past, accept and be in the present, be in the right now, be in the moment, and believe in the future. Because we all have one. And I'm thankful and grateful and appreciative that I get to share it with you. I'm Dr. Tom. I hope you have a spectacular week.